I loved Rachel. She was a force of nature, wasn't she? I mean, she was like this lightning rod that just drew attention, it drew attraction, powerful feelings. I mean, to watch her live was to watch a girl, a young woman, try to come to terms with that kind of power in the world. Try to understand how to wield it well. And, like any of us, sometimes wielding it clumsily, but there was never a doubt of her power in this world, ever. And I met her when she was 10. I met her at a time in my life when God was doing a remarkable thing, changing my life forever. Nancy and I and our girls had been watching for a couple of years, very close friends, the LSRs and the Parkers, do this experiment in intentional Christian community. And it's kind of a wacky way to live in this culture. Hard to understand, really. But what we watched God doing in those two families' lives, we wanted some of that. I mean, it felt like an adventure watching what was happening with these friends of ours and Julian. And when we learned that God had been doing a similar work in the Elliott's lives, we decided to try this together, to experiment for a few years in intentional Christian community. And, it wasn't just Nancy and I and Steve and Jill that came up with this. We wanted to include our children in the decision. We didn't want to go there if they didn't want to go there. And they did. They seemed to think that this was going to be a great way to live. And, you have to understand, Rachel at 11, when we finally did this, she was, heading off to school where none of her friends were living this way. None of them. And she dealt with the awkwardness and the discomfort publicly of living in such a strange fashion. But you need to know something. She cradled that dream. She lived so deeply into what was possible in Christian community. Maybe cradled it or cared about it more, certainly as much as any one of us, because she bore it so deeply, so sweetly when we were trying to figure out how to live this way. And there were times where she would kind of call me aside, and she would, with absolute sobriety, look me in the face and ask what I thought she could do to make it better, to do this well. I think she understood that she was part of some story, some thing that God was writing, and that she was a piece of it. And she just sat and would listen. And in those moments, she became my daughter. And I know that what drove her, and that an aspect of this force that she had, was the force of God. And she knew that. And she loved God. And she loved being part of his story. And I know that I've been told that God's story is a love story. And on days like this, it feels a bit more like a mystery. It's a mystery. And I say that, and I think of something that my brother said not long after he learned of Rachel's death, and he said, "The plot thickens." and I don't know what's going to happen. I know I'm part of a mystery, the same one she was a part of. And this morning I woke up, and our poplar is barren, and our birches are bare, and our liquid ambers are leafless because it's winter. But our apricot trees are blooming, and our peaches, and our apple, and even the calla lilies are starting to unfurl. And whatever the story is that we're a part of, that Rachel loved being a part of, I think it's in there somewhere. Because I know that she's unfurling in ways that she has never known right now. And that she is tasting a depth of joy, being part of a beauty that she used to dream about and pray for, and that we were trying to live toward at Riverbend. Oh, it was a privilege. It was a privilege to live with her and to feel like she's a daughter. Thank you for sharing her with us.